and welcome to the HpD Webcast Efficient Mechatronic Wire Harness Design in Special Vehicle Construction. My name is René Knöpfel, Head of Business Sales Management at HpD, and today I have the opportunity to visit the world's leading manufacturer of turn-in solution for composting, waste processing, and bioremediation, the company BACKHUS. Sitting next to me is the Director of Electrical Engineering, Mr. Jens Brinkmann. Mr. Brinkmann, thank you for having us.
Thank you for being here.
Also sitting next to me is my colleague Gökhan Kosen, Business Sales Manager for Harness HpD. On today's webcast, you will find out more about the company BACKHUS and their journey transitioning from a traditional way of designing wire harness to a mechatronic wire harness engineering design, and how this new process had benefited from the interdepartmental collaboration as well as the communication with their suppliers. On the last part of the webcast, we will open a Q&A session and we will try to answer all of your questions live. So feel free to post your questions during the webcast using the chat window found on the lower side of your GoToMeeting control panel. We have also prepared 2 quick polls that will be triggered during today's sessions, and we are counting with your participation. Without any further ado, Mr. Brinkmann, I would say the stage is yours.
Yes, welcome. My name is Jens Brinkmann. I'm the Director of the Electrical Engineering at BACKHUS company. The company was founded in 1985 and the location of the establishment is in the northwest of Germany, in Wardenburg. Since 2012, BACKHUS is member of the Eggersmann Group. The Eggersmann Group is a network of companies active nationally as well as internationally in the areas of construction and recycling technologies. Moreover, BACKHUS is a leading manufacturer worldwide for solutions of turning technologies for professional composting, waste treatment and soil remediation. BACKHUS delivered more than 1,200 machines in over 75 countries, and the dealer network includes 26 certificated dealers and 29 agents. Our bread and butter lines are the window turners. We build 2 different kinds of window turners. The A series is our full liner with high comfort and a lot of variations and options. The B series is quite simply with less variations and options. The main task of these machines are to turn material and add oxygen to the material. The applications for these machines are very different. They will be used for bio-waste composting, biological drying, stable dung composting and many more. The second part are the lane turners. This kind of machines are built for the plant construction. We differentiate between 2 types. The first one is a full automatic mold machine and the second one is a semi-automatic mold machine with cabin. On the picture you can see a schematic presentation of the working sequence of a full automatic lane turner. The red arrows shows the location of the filling inside. In this case, the input of the material will be done by wheel loader. The green arrow shows the output. On side of the output you can find the transfer ring. The transfer ring moves the lane turner from one lane to another. The lane turner drives into lane, lower the drum and start turning the material to the end of lane. That is a short round-up and a few words about the working process of a lane turner. We built 3 different machine types with different options and variations. All in all, we build round about 100 machines per year. We further development the duplicate parts continuously. There are around about 40 wiring harnesses per each machine type. For each machine we designed a modular wiring harness for plug-and-play installation. The BACKHUS company is part of the Eggersmann Group. The Eggersmann Group is expert on solutions for recycling technologies. BACKHUS electrical department designs the electrical circuits, diagrams and the modular wiring harness for different brands of the Eggersmann Group like Forus. The Forus company is specialist on building double shaft pre-shredder. The Teuton is a high-class single-shaft shredder with a motor power of 550 horsepower and a weight of 32 tons. The company Terra Select is specialist in separation technology. They build wind sifter, trommel screens and star screens. This is a brief summary of what the company does.
Excellent, Mr. Brinkman. So before we dig deep into the core matter of today's topic, we would like to ask you, dear audience, to take the following poll. So by now you should be able to see the poll in question. What we would like to know from you is, what are the challenges that you currently face during the wire harness design process? So please take, I would say, the next 30 seconds to answer the poll. It is a multiple choice poll, and we can discuss later the results, and then, as I mentioned before, dig deep into today's topic. Thank you very much for your participation. And this is a nice way actually to start discussing the process of wire harness engineering. So for the audience, 50% of the audience is saying, okay, we would like to reduce the time spent on wire harness design. Increase efficiency of the development process comes as second. And then the rest, with 10%, we have enhanced the quality of the manufacturing documents, improve the interdepartmental collaboration involved in the development, improve communication and collaboration with the subcontractors. So I would like to use this, Mr. Brinkman, as an introduction, and could you please share with us a little bit more about the past situation, the past process of BACKHUS in the wire harness design process, and the present situation?
Okay. In the past, the old wiring harness design workflow, the mechanical and electrical departments work parallel. The circuit diagram finished at the same time as a 3D model of the mechanical department. After that, we got a rough estimation of the length out of Solidworks. On the basis of this diagram, we built the wiring harness in-house. In the final assembly, we installed the wiring harness and detected, not before this moment, problems of wrong length, wrong cable route, or any other kinds of problems on the prototype. We often had to change our wiring harness diagram and revise the wiring harness. This iteration had stolen a lot of time. We couldn't complete the final diagram before building the prototype of the machine. During the development process, we produced a lot of race time. We went through several iterations and depend on a physical prototype. The wiring harness layout couldn't finish before the mechanical department determining the length of the harness. The electrical department had to wait for the mechanical department to deliver lengths from the CAD system. The wiring harness layout took a lot of time because this layout was a stupid graphic design without connections to ePlan P8, and it was made manually. The documentation didn't have all the informations needed, and it would have taken us a huge amount of effort to specify all the details. Without a complete documentation, external production of the wiring harness was limited. So we searched for a solution to combine the data from ePlan P8 and Solidworks, and system for wiring harness design on the 3D model. The requirements we had was an easy software handling and easy CAD handling, so that the electricians had a short time to work efficiently with the software. Now, the new process with ePlan Harness Pro D, parallel development and design of 3D model and circuit diagram. Design 3D model in Solidworks, transfer data from Solidworks and the connection list from ePlan P8 to Harness Pro D. Design wiring harness in Harness Pro D directly at the 3D model. We don't have to wait for the mechanical department. The wiring harness layout will be designed automatically with all information which an external supplier need. Let me show you the benefits on some examples. We searched for a solution to combine the data from ePlan P8 and SolidWorks. Now we can use the information from both systems and design the wire harness directly on the 3D model. On the left hand side you can see a snapshot out of Harness Pro D. On the right hand side you see a real picture of the installed wiring harness. The benefits here that we get the right length out of the Harness Pro D and we don't have to validate it on the prototype anymore. I am sure that everybody here knows the problem you can see in the picture. There is no hole for the cable. On the red hand side picture you can see there's a cable but no hole. In the development process, the mechanical department sometimes forget that the machine had cables. In the development process, the electrical department can early see problems like missing holes or anything else and can communicate it to the mechanical department. These problems can be solved before building the prototype. Now we design high quality engineering data and so we can reduce the errors when wiring a machine. For everybody is clearly defined how to install the wiring harness. Also job training for new colleagues is very easy. The documentation clear enough and easy to understand for everybody. The assembly documentation is well structured. We now have a modular wiring harness, so we were able to optimize the process so that waiting times between mechanical and electrical worker are lower than before. And now we are able to speak with different external suppliers at the same time. We have more flexibility in choosing our harness subcontractor. We can be sure that we get the same result from different subcontractors. We can decide if we want to produce the wiring harness in-house or external. These are the benefits we have experienced so far.
Okay. Thank you for that input, Mr. Brinkman. For those of you who join us after the webcast started, we will be very briefly opening the Q&A session. If you would like to submit your question, then please do it using the chat window on your GoToMeeting control panel. And at this time, we would like to trigger the second poll. So for the second poll, how do you think can your company benefit from a mechatronic wire harness engineering process? So for this, the same as before, I would say we will take the next 30 seconds. So we'll give you the next 30 seconds to answer the polls. And after that, I would say, Mr. Brinkman, we can open the Q&A session. Now you should be able to see the results of the poll on the screen. 60% is saying a mechatronic wire harness design process would help them to reduce the time during the development stages. Now, as the second point comes, reduce the error quote during the harness design and manufacturing process, and then improve the quality of the final product. And apparently none of them, Mr. Brinkman thinks, okay, the standardized product drawings design is an interesting topic, and wire harness modularization and this plug-in module, so nobody voted for those. All right, so I would say let's start with the questions. So the first question is from the audience, is from Ruben, and Ruben is asking you, is it possible to display and hide intelligent and or graphic elements in harness, just like in ePlan P8, through the options technique module? This is actually quite an interesting topic when it comes to modularization, when it comes to handling variants and options. So how are you doing this now today, working with Electric P8 and working with Harness Pro-D?
Now we do it by the ePlan P8 project options. We have a maximal project and all informations in this project, and we can hide the options or change variations and only have to set some marks in the project options and can change everything and configure our machine.
Excellent. The next question, I think we were discussing before the webcast to the audience that BACKHUS and actually the department that is led by Mr. Brinkman is not only doing the design for the company BACKHUS, but also for other companies of the Eggersman Group. No? And having this in mind, I would Jiri is asking, okay, how do you maintain wire harness types? And he says, okay, let's say in a product range, you have a machine with extended functionalities and the same harness need to be extended. So I guess this is more related to you, if I understand you right, it is more related to change management. So what happens, let's say that you have designed a harness to a machine and then you need to do some modifications to that wire harness. So how are you addressing this issue?
We don't have to do modifications because we have the interfaces for all options in this harness tree every time. And we only have to plug this option virus harness to the master harness on the machine.
Okay. The next question, how do you treat CAD data in P8 and Pro-D with Solidworks? So let me see if I understand this question right. I guess how is the data workflow when having these three different software? So you have Solidworks, the mechanical department is working with Solidworks, then you have the schematic done in Electric P8, and now the wire harness design done in 3D in Harness Pro-D.
Yeah.
So with these three constellation, how is the data workflow?
We import the data from the mechanical department as step data type into a harness and can work them on the step model.
You mentioned, okay, the electrical engineers are importing the step data into Harness Pro-D, and then they are doing the 3D layout of the design.
Yes, right.
So what I can read out of this is, okay, the electrical engineers have the full responsibility of the wire harness design, and even though it is in 3D, no?
Yes, that's right, yeah.
All right. The next question, and this is a good one. What engineering tools are you using for revision management?
We now use our ERP system for the revision documentation.
So the drawings are maintained on the ERP system?
Yeah. We can make a revision documentation with our ERP system, yes.
Okay. So the next question comes from Yusi, and Yusi is asking, did you compare any other routing application, and what was the biggest reason to choose Pro-D? So I guess this is related to the benchmarking process when you mentioned that you were researching for a tool to design 3D wire harness design. Did you compare or did you benchmark any other tools besides Harness Pro D?
Yeah, we did, but we had these two systems, ePlan and Solidworks, and these systems are so many informations, and we must use it and put this data into a new system. So that's the main.
The reusability of information, then you could say. All right. So the next question. This is related to change management too, no? How do your mechanical department notify the electrical department on the changes of the mechanical models?
We have an extra tool in Microsoft Excel for this, and the change management of the mechanical department is in this Excel document, and will send an email to us if are changes for us on the machine who's interesting for us. Yeah.
All right. So you have developed, let's say, an in-house solution.
Yeah.
For this communication of changes.
Communication. Yeah. We became the information. They are changing, and then we talk to the person of the mechanical department, and yeah.
All right. Is Harness Pro D, so Jake is asking, is Harness Pro D difficult to use when you make some 3D parts models?
No, it's easy to use. Our electricians work with this system, and it's intuitive and easy to use. Yeah.
Okay. Peter is asking, will be some real examples in ePlan be shown in this webinar? I guess I can answer this question. So Peter, we are not planning to show a technical demonstration of the software during this webinar, but what I can invite you to do is to go into YouTube to search for Harness Pro D. There we have some clips that demonstrate the technical capabilities of the software. Is it possible to transfer back to the 3D main design software, SolidWorks Pro E or CATIA, the cables created in Harness Pro D?
I think it's possible,
yeah,
but we don't do it.
You don't transfer the information back.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
It's we want to do it in the future, but till now we don't have it.
Okay. And Ruben, I can also tell you from the software perspective out of Harness Pro D that you have the possibility to export the wire harness design, the 3D prototype in different neutral formats. And these neutral formats can be, of course, imported in SolidWorks Pro E, CATIA, and other mechanical software. All right. So if there are no further questions, Mr. Brinkman is willing to answer some of your questions also offline. So you can email your questions at jens.brinkman@backhus.de. You can also connect with him via Sync and LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I guess the people only need to search for your name, and they will find you. You can also send us your questions. You can send me the questions at knöpfel.r@eplan.de. You can also connect with me via Sync or LinkedIn, or also you can connect to Gökhan Kosen via Sync or LinkedIn, or write him a question at kosen.g@eplan.de. From my side, Mr. Brinkman, it has been a pleasure then. Thank you again for having us here in Baden-Württemberg. No?
Thank you for being here.
Okay. To the audience, Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for attending this webinar.